Hi, hello, and welcome. Today we'll be discussing about the chapter Life Processes. How can we say that whether a organism is living or dead? By observing the movements which happen in the organism. What kind of movements? It can be the visible movements or invisible movements. What are the visible movements that we can see? Like breathing of the organism, growth of the organism, all this come under the visible movements. And under invisible movements, all the molecular movements come under the invisible movements because we can't see the molecular movements, right? Are these movements necessary? Yes, they are necessary for the survival of the organism. What happens in any organism? If it need to keep on surviving, if it needs to continue its life, it should keep on repairing and maintenance its body or its structure. For that purpose, some processes keep on going on all the time, even if the organism is not doing anything in particular. If it is sleeping, taking rest, at all the times, there is some process, some maintenance process which keep on undergoing inside the organism. And for this maintenance process, there are some processes which help. These are called as life processes. Clear? So all the processes which maintain the body functions and necessary for survival are called as life process. Now, what are the different life processes that we'll be dealing with in this chapter? There are 4 life processes. What are they? First is nutrition, then respiration, transportation, and excretion. Now, to maintain the body, to make any repairs, we need some energy. To undergo any process, the organism requires energy. And how do they get energy? Through the process of nutrition. What is nutrition? The process in which the food is taken from the source and is supplied to the place where the maintenance is happening. This is called as nutrition. Different organisms have different process for the intake of the nutrition, right? So what happens in nutrition in plants? Nutrition in plants is autotrophic, and nutrition in animals is heterotrophic. So we have two different types of nutrition, autotrophic and heterotrophic. Auto means self. Autotrophic means where the food is prepared by self. Okay. In plants, what happens? Plants prepare their own food by themselves using some inorganic compounds. What are the inorganic compounds which the plants use? They are carbon dioxide and water. And using light as the energy source, they convert this carbon dioxide and water into the carbohydrates, which is the food source. Clear? So as they are using the light as the source of energy for preparing the food or for synthesizing the food, the name for the is called as photosynthesis. So the nutrition in plants is called as photosynthesis. So what they do, they combine carbon dioxide and water molecules in the chlorophyll in the presence of sunlight, convert into glucose and release the oxygen. Clear? Now, what happens in the photosynthesis? First, the absorption of light energy. The source of energy is light. The light energy is absorbed by the chlorophyll pigments. Then this light energy is converted into chemical energy, and then splitting of water molecules happens into hydrogen and oxygen. Then using this hydrogen, the reduction of carbon dioxide occurs into the carbohydrates. Clear? Now, now we'll look at the chloroplast, which contains the chlorophylls. This is the transverse section of the leaf, which contains the chloroplast pigments inside these parenchyma tissue. Got it? Now, what we will do now, whatever is science has to be proven, right? So if we are saying that carbon dioxide is absorbed by the plants, they use carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to form carbohydrates. So we'll prove one by one. First, what we will do is we will prove, or we will show, we will conduct an experiment to prove that chloroplast or the chlorophyll pigment is required to perform photosynthesis. Got it? Now, what is the experiment that we do first is we will take a potted plant. Okay, now after we take a potted plant, we will keep the potted plant under sunlight for 2 hours. For what purpose we are keeping the potted plant under sunlight for 2 hours? Because there is already starch which is produced by the plants, okay, the form of carbohydrates where the plants store is called as starch. Now the starch is already produced by the plants. So to confirm that the excess of starch which is stored in every part of the plant is removed, we keep the potted plant in the dark for 2 days. Got it? Now, what kind of plants we are taking here? We are taking a plant with a variegated leaf. Okay, what a variegated leaf? Which have different colors in the leaves. Why are we taking different colors? What is the color of chlorophyll? The color of chlorophyll is green in color. Okay, so we are taking a variegated plant where the leaves have different colors so that we can show that in the same plant, the parts which are green in color perform photosynthesis, and that parts which are not green in color cannot perform photosynthesis or cannot store the starch. Clear? Now we have kept the potted plant which under dark for 2 days so that the excess of starch which is prepared is utilized by the plant. Now what we'll do, we'll keep the plant in the sun for the photosynthesis process for 6 hours. Now, after we keep the plant under sun for photosynthesis to perform photosynthesis for 6 hours, we will take the leaves of these plants. Fine. Now what we'll do, we'll kill the leaves by boiling it in water. Then we will dip the leaves in the solution of alcohol and heat the alcoholic solution till it starts to boil. Why do we do this so? What is the color of the leaf? It is green in color. And when we are performing a starch test or the test for iodine, we have to observe the bluish black or the dark blue color in the food leaves, right? So in order to get a perfect color of our test, we are bleaching the leaves. This process is called as bleaching. Clear? What happens in bleaching? The leaf of the color is removed. So before bleaching, what we do is we'll take the leaf, put a paper on it, okay, the tracing paper on it, and trace the parts which are green in color and the parts which are not green in color on the leaf, on the paper. Fine. Why we are doing so? Because after bleaching, we have to identify which parts are showing the positive for starch test and which parts are not showing positive. Fine. Now what we do? We'll take a beaker, put the beaker on the burner with the water, boiling water, put the leaf in this beaker to kill the leaf. Now this leaf is taken into a test tube, okay, which have alcohol solution. Fine. And we will heat this alcoholic solution till it starts to boil. Fine. By this process, the bleaching happens, which means the color of the leaf is removed. Now, on this leaf, we will perform the iodine test or the starch test. We will put a solution of iodine, drops of iodine on this leaf and observe the color change. Wherever the starch is stored, the color of the leaf changes to dark blue or bluish black in color. Got it? So it changes from the dark blue to the bluish black in color, and the parts which do not perform photosynthesis, which were not in green color, they do not show any color change because there is no starch present or there is no starch stored by the plant. Clear? Now by this we are proving that chlorophyll is essential for photosynthesis. Got it? Now, what is the next one? We prove that chlorophyll is required for photosynthesis, right? Now, what we'll be proving next? Carbon dioxide. carbon dioxide is required for photosynthesis. Can you observe this image? These are the guard cells. What is the use of guard cells? They intake the gases and they exchange the gases. Okay, these are useful for the exchange of gases. They intake the carbon dioxide and release the oxygen into the atmosphere. Okay, they are useful for the exchange of gases in the plants, and these stomatal openings are present on a leaf. Got it? Now, here we will be conducting an experiment to prove that carbon dioxide is also necessary for photosynthesis. Now, as usual, what we'll do? We'll take a two potted plants. Okay, we'll take two potted plants, put them in the dark for 2 days. What happens when we put them in the dark? The excess of starch which is already produced will be utilized. Now, we will take two these potted plants and we will put them under the glass jars. Under one glass jar, we will put a solution of KOH or potassium hydroxide solution along with the potted plant, and another potted plant is kept under a glass jar without any solution. Right? Now, why we are using a KOH solution? What happens is KOH absorbs the carbon dioxide which is present in the atmosphere. So in this experiment, what we are doing is the plant which is under this glass jar won't be able to perform photosynthesis because there is no carbon dioxide present in its atmosphere. Whereas this glass jar do not have any KOH solution and it can absorb the carbon dioxide which is present in its surrounding. Now we'll place this setup under sunlight for 6 hours. And then as usual, as we did in the previous experiment, we will pluck the leaves and perform the starch test. Now what happens? The leaves which are present under the glass jar or the bell jar which have KOH solution do not show any starch content. Whereas the leaves which are under the glass jar without any KOH solution will show positive result for the starch test. Got it? So first we proved that chlorophyll is required for photosynthesis and chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis. Now we have proved that carbon dioxide is also necessary for the photosynthesis. Clear? Now,